This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Adam Drake's sentencing. The man convicted of killing battle rapper Pat Stay gets 17 years in jail. Dry wells. As the drought drags on, some Nova Scotians are forced to find new sources of water. And perfect placement. How this bookstore helps cats find their forever homes.
And we did see some clouds that produced a few scattered showers. There are more showers in the extended forecast. All the details coming up.
Good evening. Adam Drake must serve a minimum of 17 years in prison for the killing of Pat Stay before he can apply to begin to apply for parole. Drake was convicted in June of second-degree murder in Stay's death. Today, a judge set his minimum parole period, but as Blair Rhodes reports, it's complicated.
He tried to impress upon this court, and did so, that Mr. Drake is a dangerous man.
The Crown had been asking the judge to set the minimum prison term at between 20 to 23 years. Drake's lawyer had asked for 13 to 15. Neither Drake nor his lawyer were in the courtroom for the hearing. They both appeared by video. But members of Pat Stay's family and friends packed the courtroom, including his widow, Melissa Burns. She posted on social media that because he wasn't there, she wouldn't speak in court because she couldn't say things to his face. But the Crown said plenty.
He walks in the community and causes grave threat to our society, and that's demonstrated by his criminal history, and the judge ruled in according with that.
That criminal history includes another murder conviction for the killing of Tyler Kaiser in 2016. Kaiser was shot and killed in a parking lot on Gottingen Street. The jury in the Pat Stay case were not told of Drake's prior murder conviction. Adam Drake must serve a minimum of 17 years in prison in this case before he can start applying for parole. But he's also serving a 25-year sentence for the first-degree murder of Tyler Kaiser. Those two sentences will be served concurrently, meaning that he will be in jail for at least another 25 years. Blair Rhodes, CBC News, Halifax.
Nova Scotia's medical examiner has decided against conducting a fatality inquiry into the death of a man who was jolted by a stun gun during a violent struggle with police earlier this year. In February, police were called to a condo building on Vimy Avenue to respond to reports of a man whose mental health was deteriorating. A struggle occurred between officers and the man, which led to police using a taser on him. The 25-year-old man died at the scene. The medical examiner says the Nova Scotia Health Authority will instead conduct an internal, confidential quality review. Last week, the East Coast Prison Justice Society called for a fatality inquiry, saying Halifax police were told the 25-year-old was having a psychotic episode when two officers decided to arrest him under the Involuntary Psychiatric Treatment Act. Fisheries and Oceans Canada is investigating after thousands of lobsters were seized in Nova Scotia recently. Last week, federal fisheries officers seized more than 8,000 lobsters from a plant in Delapse Cove and almost 6,500 lobsters from a plant in Port Mattoon. Two people have been arrested in relation to the seizures, one of them for providing false statements to a fisheries officer. All of the lobsters have since been returned to the ocean. Well, summer may be behind us, but much of the province is still gripped by the effects of lingering drought. For many Nova Scotians, wells have run dry and they've been forced to find new ways to get water. As winter closes in, options are running out. Selena Alders reports.
Tegan Rollings must make do with bottled water for all daily tasks. The mother of two from Musquodoboit Harbour has not had running water for almost 3 months.
This is not normal, and even though we're all carrying on as if it is normal, that, there is a toll emotionally.
She checks the levels in her dug well every day, only to be met with disappointment.
And we're just below 5 inches.
A well that usually holds 5 feet of water when there's a normal amount of rain. To get by, she's been relying on a nearby community well as her main water supply. But this solar-powered system was only meant to be a small volunteer-backed project, a backup water source in case of emergencies or power outages. Instead, it's become a lifeline for many, having pumped almost 30,000 gallons of water since August. Karen Bradley is one of the people behind the community well, which draws from an underground reservoir.
I think this project is an example of community taking care of itself based on the assets that it has.
This hydrologist is calling on Canada to implement a national drought and flood prediction system so local governments can ensure alternative water systems are in place.
It really has become a national disaster for Canada that snuck up on us. And here we are in October with still exceptional drought in the Maritimes and extreme drought in every province across the country.
Our big concern is that we won't get the amount of rainfall that we will need to bring our well back to any kind of normal before the ground freezes.
The community well is not winterized and will soon have to shut down. Experts say it will take a significant amount of rain to recharge the water table, and the next few weeks will be critical. Selena Alders, CBC News, Musquodoboit Harbour, Nova Scotia.
And we have Tina in for Ryan tonight. And yes, Tina, lots of folks looking for some relief to this dry weather.
Yeah, and a little bit of rain would go a long way. And we do have showers in the forecast over the course of the weekend, but not significant rain that will add up in the rain gauge. That will have to wait until next week, but there is promise of more chances and more opportunities of widespread rain as we go into next week. You might be sick of the talk of rain chances in the forecast by then, but it looks like we do, and we are in for some good accumulating rain next week. Until then, temperatures today climbed up into the mid to upper teens, and right now we're slowly coming back a couple of degrees. Most of the temperatures are still holding in the teens, and we do have some showers that did show up on the radar, especially through the Annapolis Valley this afternoon. Again, these were not for everyone. Most stayed dry, and it's these kind of showers that we expect over the course of the weekend, both Saturday and more so on Sunday. Monday is a completely different story. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for that, Tina. Well, the number of Nova Scotians getting vaccinated against the flu and COVID-19 was down for the last respiratory season. Only about 3 out of 10 Nova Scotians got their flu shots last year, compared to about 2 in 10 for COVID. But a Nova Scotia health official says there is a silver lining in the data. In high-risk groups, such as people over 65 or living in long-term care, the uptake is at least double that of the general population.
To me, that's really encouraging to see that those Nova Scotians who are most at risk of getting sick from flu and COVID are the ones who are most likely to get vaccinated.
For the last respiratory season, COVID-19 killed 123 Nova Scotians, while the flu killed 135. Appointments are now open for both vaccines in the province. Fatal collisions in Halifax have jumped dramatically this year, and the rate of serious crashes is also not going down. Data from Halifax's annual road safety report finds more than 20 people have died this year as of August. That's up from 6 fatal collisions last year and up 11 from the year before. The rate of fatal or serious collisions has been rising, reaching about 30 per 100,000 people last year.
It is now a 4-year trend line going in the wrong direction for where we want it to be. And so I'm wondering, like on the staff side, what are the barriers that you are facing in terms of trying to actually address this? Because clearly what we're doing, despite good intentions, despite best efforts, is not working.
Staff say new software will create a heat map of collisions to help prioritize where safety improvements should go. A new public education campaign is also being planned. Halifax hopes to hit 0 fatal or serious collisions by 2038. The Transportation Safety Board warns hazardous conditions in the commercial fishing industry continue to endanger lives. Despite years of safety recommendations, the TSB says progress on implementing changes has been too slow. It highlights what it describes as a deeply ingrained safety culture within the industry.
It is one of the key items to resolving this issue of fishing vessel safety is the safety culture. But it's important to have these discussions, and we don't always see eye to eye, but it's important to have these discussions and, present our point of view, they present their point of view, and we try to move ahead from that.
The TSB has been monitoring commercial fishing safety since 1999, but says many of the same safety deficiencies on board fishing vessels persist today. The World Series heads back to Canada tonight. The Blue Jays host the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 1. And across Canada, there's been growing interest in the Toronto Blue Jays postseason run, including here in Nova Scotia. Blue Jays fans have been packing pubs and bars, eager to see just how far this team will go. Brett Ruskin has more from outside Rogers Square in downtown Halifax.
This is Rogers Square here in downtown Halifax, and this was the home for the watch parties when the Toronto Raptors were playing in their championship playoff run a few years back. Likely the epicenter of Jays fandom here in the Halifax area as well, with the games being played on all of those screens. Looking at online posts, it looks like people are going to be either joining in packed pubs or busy bars, or likely at home watching the game. A little bit more difficult here on the East Coast to watch the game because the games are a touch later than elsewhere in the country, with the first pitch coming just after 9 p.m. local time for each one of the World Series games. And so there is still certainly lots of support on the ground and in the air as well, with, again, that local Nova Scotia pilot who makes diagrams and different images using his plane's flight path, recently made the logo, the Blue Jays logo, in the skies above Nova Scotia. And so obviously Nova Scotia and the East Coast, not the only place where we are seeing watch parties being organized. We have also seen watch parties being organized ahead of the game in the GTA, in the Toronto area, in Calgary, in Edmonton, Winnipeg, Vancouver as well. Certainly easier to watch the games when they are late afternoon, early evening in those parts of the country, but certainly support from coast to coast to coast as the Blue Jays begin their World Series run. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Halifax.
A bookstore in Upper Tantallon has found success adopting cats and kittens. Otis and Clementine's Books and Coffee has been doing it for 6 years. Cassidy Chisholm has more.
This isn't your typical used bookstore. At Otis and Clementine's Books and Coffee, customers are often greeted by cats or kittens when they walk through the door. This bookstore in Upper Tantallon partners with a local charity to foster cats. So while people browse the bookshelves, they can also consider adopting a new furry friend.
People love cats and a lot of people love books, and so many people love both of those things. It made it a much more compelling visit. I will drive from Halifax to Tantallon if there's cats and books, of course.
The store opened in 2011, but only started fostering in 2019. Since then, Helmke says the store has found homes for about 280 cats.
They come, they're here for a few days, they're adopted. So as long as there are cats that need homes, I would love to surpass 300. I would love to surpass 350 in 2026.
The store has been working with Spade HRM to get cats adopted.
We've had kittens literally leave here within hours. The hours, she posts them and then they're adopted. It's just amazing.
Felix says the partnership works well because the store gives the animals more exposure.
The store in Ellen has been an absolute godsend. We would never have been able to take in the volume of adult cats that we have adopted here. It's through our shelter. It just keeps the wheels turning and enables us to help more.
The store has been especially helpful in adopting out adult cats. Helmke says that's because customers are able to meet the cats in a more comfortable setting, where their personalities can shine.
Kittens are easy to home and easy to please, but when an adult cat has found their new forever home and I hear about it, I love it.
Anyone looking to adopt a cat is welcome to visit the store before submitting an application for approval. But it's important to call first to make sure there are kitties available. Cassidy Chisholm, CBC News, Upper Tantallon.
Well, a fossil dating back almost 300 million years has been found in PEI. Experts say it appears to be a large footprint of an ancient reptile. The PEI Museum and Heritage Foundation says researchers think it likely came from a huge knobby-skulled plant-eating reptile called a pyrrhiosaur. It's believed to be one of the oldest examples of this type of footprint ever found from this species. The fossil was found along Hillsborough Bay in late spring and will eventually be on display in PEI museums. There's a look at Halifax on this Friday night. Tina's up next with the full weather forecast.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
And Tina's back with her full forecast. And goodness, today felt like late summer, not fall, didn't it?
I know.
It was very nice. I didn't have much time outside, but I enjoyed what I had.
Exactly. And I think that's what we have to do this time of year. If you like this kind of weather, you know it's going to be short-lived. You know it's going to be changing. And it looks like it's going to be changing quite dramatically by next week. Cooler temperatures, but there's also talk of rain, not only for one day, but several days to come. We do need the rain. Now, there are chances for showers in the extended forecast, and and over the course of the weekend. But the chances for showers this weekend, not really great. Take a look at the radar satellite composite, and this is from the last 6 hours. So with the help of the daytime heating, it's a little bit unstable today. We did generate some scattered showers out there, primarily through parts of the Annapolis Valley, and then we have an area of unsettled weather off the coast, which is brushing by Cape Breton, Richmond, and Cape Breton County, and that's where we've seen a couple of scattered showers that are still going on. So it's these showers that are going to stay in the forecast for the next couple of days. They're going to be spotty in nature. Most are going to stay dry, but those who do get the showers are going to say, hey, we've got some showers out here. And again, that's going to be the case throughout the weekend. In the meantime, today our temperatures managed to climb into the double digits, and part of the reason is we've got more of a west to southwesterly wind that we've been carrying for the better part of the week, and that's going to continue at least for tonight. But the winds are starting to change direction. They're becoming more westerly, and by tomorrow we're going to see more of a northwesterly wind as we move into the weekend, and that's going to keep our weather somewhat unsettled. We do have a ridge of high pressure that's back to the west, but this one is not going to really be dominating our weather. Maybe a little bit on Saturday, but the clouds really return and come back in full force as we go into Sunday and certainly by Monday. Temperatures right now even very mild, still holding on to double digits across most of the province. Temperatures ranging anywhere from, say, 11 to around 15 degrees. It was a little bit warmer along areas of the coast even this afternoon. So again, very pleasant. Now, as the skies begin to clear, I'll call it partly cloudy. Can't rule out a shower or two, especially for the eastern mainland through to Cape Breton, where we are still seeing some scattered showers. Most of those showers should start to dissipate, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies overnight tonight, and then a few fog patches developing and temperatures dropping down to around 4 degrees. So very unsettled as we go into the evening hours, but settling out overnight. Now, speaking of things that are unsettled, taking us down into the tropics, taking a look at Melissa. Right now, still a tropical storm, but it is expected to intensify over the course of the weekend, maybe up to a Category 4, but you can see it's really not moving fast over the course of the weekend, really barely moving off towards the east. So we'll keep an eye on Melissa, and maybe some of the moisture will come our way from this one. The moisture coming our way for tomorrow is just going to be because of that northwesterly flow and a weak disturbance that could kick off a few scattered showers during the afternoon on Saturday. And then as we go through the day on Sunday, the clouds are really going to fill the skies. And again, a few sprinkles of rain, certainly not out of the question as we go into the weekend. But until then, expect a mix of sun and clouds for tomorrow. And temperatures, once again, staying very mild, climbing up to around 15 degrees for Sydney, into Ingonish and Shettycamp. And there are chances for showers. Again, once in the morning and then once again in the afternoon, and the wind should stay fairly light and more northwesterly by the late afternoon hours at around 20 kilometers per hour. A mix of sun and clouds. I wouldn't rule out a scattered shower tomorrow afternoon. There is that possibility, but for the most part, we're going to stay dry. This isn't the kind of rain that's going to accumulate. It's just going to be spotty, and temperatures ranging anywhere from 13 to 16 along the South Shore. So here we go into the weekend. Temperatures staying mild, but things do begin to change on Monday. We've got an area of low pressure that's going to be visiting us, and it's not going to move out anytime soon. So it sticks around on Monday, right until Thursday, it looks like. Now, each and every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, it looks like we have the potential to pick up anywhere from 2 to 5 millimeters of rain with pockets of higher amounts. So given time and 4 days worth of showers in the forecast, we could see maybe 15 to 20 millimeters of rain by the time that Thursday rolls around. Now, for the trick-or-treaters, keeping an eye on that forecast, it looks like there could be showers on Friday morning, cooler temperatures, but it looks like the skies are going to clear on Friday night. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for the trick-or-treaters and hope we get some substantial rain next week.
It might just time out perfectly. All right, thanks, Tina. Protection of the Chignecto Isthmus is on track for completion in 2035. At the same time, an astronomical cycle is increasing the strength of the Bay of Fundy tides, and that increased the chance of a storm surge could overtake the current dike system. The CBC's Erica Butler reports.
The low-lying Chignecto Isthmus is home to the communities of Sackville and Amherst, as well as a major infrastructure corridor which includes high-voltage lines, a CN track, and the Trans-Canada Highway. Rising sea levels and increased frequency of intense storms have made this critical corridor vulnerable to flooding at high tides. A major project backed by New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and the federal government is underway to fortify the isthmus against Bay of Fundy tides, but that project is expected to take 10 years to complete. Over the course of that decade, high tides will be getting higher in the Bay of Fundy as an 18-year astronomical cycle plays out. Experts say strengthening tides mean a lesser storm could put the isthmus at risk.
At any given time at a high tide in the Bay of Fundy system, there could be some flooding if there is storm surge or significant storm creating a storm surge that would kind of amplify the water levels there. So every time that we reach a peak of this 18-year cycle, water levels are about 6 or 7 centimeters higher than they were at the last peak. So you combine all that together, and it results in an increased vulnerability during those times of high water levels, and that's what we monitor very closely.
Retired Emergency Management Coordinator Mike Johnson was on the Allac Dikes in 2015 during the last astronomical peak tides to record water levels during a 60-centimeter storm surge.
It's actually the wind catching the waves and throwing the water up against the railway tracks. And so I was recording just to see at what point the tide was starting to recede. So I wanted to make sure I captured it at the high point of tide. And so I was getting ready to leave when I noticed that the train was coming.
Johnson captured a photo that would become iconic of the tidal threat to the valuable corridor.
We've had some fairly significant hurricanes, and we've been very fortunate the hurricanes arrived at a time when the tide was low. If we have a situation where the hurricanes arrive at the high tide, especially a high tide like we're seeing today, we could have completely different results of topping the dike.
The province of New Brunswick says it has commissioned hurricane modeling for the isthmus, and Environment Canada continues to monitor weather systems. New Brunswick officials recently told MLAs that the threat was not immediate, but with a 10-year timeline for the protection of the isthmus, emergency management professionals like Johnson are still concerned.
I'm hoping that the 2035 time period is going to be sufficient to have that build completed. Given the way that things get postponed or get behind schedule, we've got a Mother Nature's time schedule that says 2032 is the peak tides, and we have to be ready for that.
Coming up, Acadia will soon be home to thousands of ticks. Canada's first tick research lab is set to open at the university next year. Acadia is getting its own tick lab, a first of its kind in Canada. A team at the university in Wolfville has received a big grant to launch a facility that will study and breed the pests. And for more on this, we're joined by Nicoletta Ferrone, who will lead the Canadian Tick Research and Innovation Centre. Okay, so for a lot of folks, the idea of thousands of ticks in one spot is not appealing, but this is something you've been working hard to achieve. Why is that?
Access to our own tick rearing facilities can be very important for tick research in general, and for all the Canadian researchers that are interested in understanding more on tick ecology and studying the new type of pathogens that they can carry. So having ticks that are genetically comparable to the one that are found in the wild in Canada is very important, because it can give us a good comparison with what we are studying in the lab.
Now, I understand you've actually had to import American ticks for your research in the past. How come?
Yeah, so for doing research and experiment in lab condition, you usually want to use ticks that are infection-free to avoid the presence of the pathogen, for risk purposes, and also for avoiding and excluding that parameter, that influence of the pathogen on the tick behavior. Now, to source those ticks, the only lab that it's available that provides ticks that are lab reared and are pathogen free, it's located in the States. And there are no such facility in Canada that can offer this type of service. So my only source was this lab in the US.
And they weren't cheap either, right?
They are not, and it's understandable, because those ticks are reared on animals, specifically on white New Zealand rabbit. So keeping those animals and under certain specific conditions and according to the animal care protocols can be very expensive.
Well, let's talk about your project. Who is funding it, and by how much?
So this tickery has been possible thanks to a very generous donation that we have received to make this vision, bring into reality. And together with this donation, I also have applied for other funding, the ACOA funding, and I've applied for the CFI. So together, we hope to collect enough money to boosting even more the creation of these facilities that hopefully will be open in the spring of 2026.
And what do you hope this research will lead to?
So, first of all, having this facility will boost more the research and the understanding on the tick ecology. It will provide a great platform for researchers and also government agency to source a very advanced molecular suite for pathogen testing, so we can provide also surveillance and monitoring for new pathogens, and providing ticks for research. It will help in general to advance our understanding on tick behavior, and hopefully to also protect more the public against the tick bite and boosting tick prevention.
Well, you and I talked in the summer about the impact the drought might have on the tick population. What are you seeing now that it gets a bit cooler?
So initially, this was in September, specifically in Nova Scotia. You're expecting already ticks to come back alive after the summer. And we didn't see much. And this was probably because of the very dry summer that we have experienced. However, we went out in the field again, and ticks are out. So, and we collect plenty of them. So the fact that we had a dry summer didn't really impact much the tick population. So we need to be aware that they are out, and we need to protect ourselves accordingly.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coming up, U.S. President Donald Trump has abruptly canceled all trade talks with Canada after the Ontario government ran an anti-tariff ad on American TV this week. And the stage is set in Toronto for Game 1 of the World Series as the Blue Jays return to the Fall Classic for the first time in 32 years. Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump has terminated all trade negotiations with Canada. His justification is an anti-tariff TV ad featuring former President Ronald Reagan, paid for by the Ontario government. David Thurton takes a look at the latest flare-up and what might happen next.
Just before taking off for an overseas trip to Asia, Mark Carney responds to another twist in trade negotiations.
We stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions.
Carney says his government will focus on what it can control, but took no questions. The ad that sparked Donald Trump's wrath
high tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by
put out by the Ontario government, has been playing on networks across the U.S. It features the voice of former Republican President Ronald Reagan. The day after it aired, the U.S. president didn't mind.
If I was Canada, I'd take that same ad also.
Then, abruptly, Trump took to social media last night announcing in all caps that because of the ad, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated.
The president, probably more than anything, is frustrated with the progress that he's making with Canada.
Took President Reagan's words out of context. Even the Reagan Foundation criticized him for it.
This is not the first time Trump has said he's ending trade talks.
I expect that we will see negotiations resume at some point, but this is a tactic on Trump's part to maintain leverage.
Some on this side of the border say the TV spot did what it was supposed to do.
It's clear that these ads are working. If you throw a rock at a lake and you don't hear a splash, you've probably missed. So to my good friend Doug Ford, keep the ads on TV.
Ford has decided to pause the ads after speaking with the Prime Minister, but not before Monday, after they aired during 2 World Series games. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
Game 1 of this year's World Series in Toronto is just hours away. The Blue Jays are preparing to square off against the powerhouse LA Dodgers. The heavily favored Dodgers are in search of back-to-back titles, but the Jays are hoping to dethrone them. Jamie Strachan has the latest from the Rogers Centre.
The day has finally arrived, the first World Series game north of the border since 1993. The final touches being put on the field. The final rehearsals as the eyes of the baseball world will be focused on Toronto. Game 1 between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are looking to win back-to-back World Series championships. A massive international media delegation has descended upon Toronto. The biggest focus, Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani.
I think we're talking about a totally different kind of animal here that can do things on the field that not many people can do.
For Blue Jay fans, the team's miraculous season has ignited baseball fever here in Toronto and across the country.
I'm so pumped, that's why I'm here.
World Series merch has been flying off the shelves, and fans are embracing what has been an unexpected march to the World Series.
I'm anxious, but in like the best way. It's all excitement. I'm so proud, and I'm just excited to see what's gonna happen.
The players nervous, but excited about what could be a once-in-a-career opportunity.
The pressure will kind of go away when you're in the moment. But, you know, it's great to have a whole country kind of behind you, and it's not just a city.
You don't know how many times you'll make it to the World Series in your life. Some people never do. So a lot of people never do. So I think just being super grateful for opportunity and taking advantage of it by preparing the best you can and going out there and competing.
A swing and a fly ball to left field. Despite winning more games than the Dodgers, the Jays are underdogs in this series. A role the team relishes.
I think there's so many different scenarios that you could look to throughout the season, big moments, big hits that had a huge part in us maybe getting out of a rut or continuing a hot streak.
And a big boost for the Jays heading into Game 1. After missing the first 2 rounds of the playoffs with a knee injury, all-star infielder Bo Bichette is back. Good news for Blue Jay fans. Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Rehab facilities are often touted as the way out of addiction, but a Fifth Estate investigation has found a patchwork of unregulated for-profit treatment centers operating with little or no oversight. As Stephen D'Souza explains, critics say that puts vulnerable clients at risk.
Massages, sauna, hot tub, in the woods, it's a cabin, Michelin star chef, that's what
Emily Bogan says the promise was enticing. Treatment for her drug use and Lyme disease from a team of professionals in an idyllic setting. The reality, though?
The clients there called it a crack house.
She and her mother had found Nomina Wellness on Vancouver Island. They say based on online photos, they expected a luxury mountain retreat. Instead, she ended up here. She says Nomina co-owner Lisa Calco promised professional treatment. But Bogan says some sessions were run by untrained staff, and she wasn't treated for Lyme disease. She paid more than $33,000 for 3 weeks, but others told the Fifth Estate they paid $60,000 and more.
What did Lisa care about?
getting people to come to Namna. Money.
It's appalling. It's shocking.
Some experts say her experience is part of a bigger problem with private residential treatment centers across much of Canada. There are no standards of care, little government oversight, and critics warn it's putting lives at risk.
When you take your vulnerable 19-year-old or 20-year-old to a private residential treatment center, there is no oversight body. There are no standards.
Just Alberta and Quebec regulate private residential treatment centers. BC only regulates those that register with the province. Namna does not appear on any registries in BC. The Fifth Estate has learned that a 27-year-old man died at Namna from a fentanyl overdose in October 2024. We found inconsistencies in the staff's response, including questions about whether naloxone, the potentially life-saving opioid overdose reversal drug, was available at the time. The BC Coroner's Office is now reviewing information the Fifth Estate provided.
He was just such a young, beautiful person. I mean, he just had so much potential.
We contacted Lisa Calco at Namna. She declined an interview, but in an email said their website accurately captures what they offer, including facilities, and says clients voluntarily enroll in their programs, and Namna is transparent about how things work. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, Toronto.
New research suggests fewer children developed an allergy to peanuts after they were exposed to the food early on in life. Christine Birak explains the research findings, as well as how and when parents can start introducing peanuts to their kids.
So how old were your kids when you introduced peanuts?
As soon as he was able to sit upright and he was allowed to have purees, so which around 6 months.
I think earlier is definitely better.
That may surprise parents with older children, but advice changed dramatically around 10 years ago. Now studies suggest introducing peanuts as early as 4 months old can help.
So this study is really exciting.
A new American study looked at guidelines for early food introduction and patterns of food allergy. Researchers found introducing allergy-causing foods early, especially peanuts, can lower allergy rates in children. Kids born after 2015, when new guidelines were introduced, saw a 43% drop in peanut allergies. Doctors say milk allergies also declined, but egg stayed roughly the same. This doctor's daughter has severe allergies. She says if she could go back, she would have offered peanuts, eggs, and many other foods earlier.
The goal is to prevent these allergies, because avoiding a food when you have a severe food allergy every single meal, every single day, has a real impact on your quality of life.
You can do it, and you can do it safely. Have that confidence.
Doctors say food allergies impact roughly 1 in 2 households, or about 3 million Canadians, but advice on what to do isn't always clear.
Baby steps, and that can be having a little bit of peanut butter thinned out and mixed with breast milk or expressed milk, with formula, with water diluted out, just a teeny bit on a baby spoon.
While the guidelines seem to be working, some children will still develop severe allergies. Canadian researchers are now looking at ways to better predict which kids are at highest risk so they can get the right support early on. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
In BC, there's renewed concern for humpback whales after a calf suffered a deep gash colliding with a ferry. It is the second incident in recent months, and as Caroline Bargout explains, there are some calling for more to be done to protect the whales.
This humpback whale's injury is significant. On Friday, near Vancouver's English Bay, the calf known as Skipper was swimming with its mother Zigzag when it was struck by a ferry.
With a whale that has an injury like that, they really need space.
Sarah Jenkins saw the pair the day before, then again 2 days after the collision.
It's pretty deep, and deep cuts like that, it takes a big impact to actually be able to do that to them.
She says the calf and mom have remained in the same area since the collision, likely to give the baby time to rest. The company, which operates the ferry, said in a statement, upon sighting the mammal, the bridge team immediately initiated evasive action and executed a crash stop maneuver in accordance with safety procedures. The company contacted the Department of Fisheries and Oceans and is fully cooperating with the investigation. Last month, a humpback was struck and killed by a BC ferry off the north coast near Prince Rupert. Whale experts say there has been an increase in humpbacks being hit, in part because there are more of them in these waters. And unlike orcas, when they hear a ship, they can't figure out where it is. As for Skipper's condition, experts fear it may not be good.
If it was an adult whale, it might survive. We have seen injuries like that before and the whale has survived. But for a little calf that's still growing and still dependent on its mother, I don't think it has a really great chance. I hope I'm wrong.
Federal regulations require vessels stay 200 meters away from a humpback with a calf. Experts say the problem is you can't predict when a whale will come up for air. They say the best way to minimize harm is to just slow down. Caroline Bargood, CBC News, Vancouver.
A census of sorts is being conducted in parts of the Alberta foothills. It's not people that are being tallied, but eagles. The CBC's Dave Gilson reports.
There's one on the right peak, and then there's one in the dip.
Volunteers with the nonprofit Rocky Mountain Eagle Research Foundation have been out pretty well every day over the past month near Mount Lorette in Kananaskis country as part of the organization's annual fall golden eagle count. They say the work, which includes fall and spring counts, is part of an important citizen science initiative that's been running since 1992. Sightings go into a count report and eventually a database as part of broader efforts to better understand the birds.
But when you do these counts over a long period of time, then you can pick up trends. And the trend that we're seeing here is that the numbers are gradually declining.
They count other birds, but mainly focus on the eagles. The viewing site sits along a major golden eagle migratory route extending from Mexico to Alaska. The birds ride updrafts generated by weather and mountain topography. In recent years, the foundation says it's seen an average of 3,000 golden eagles during the fall count and about 2,200 during the spring count. The volunteers say their highest daily count so far this fall was more than 300.
It's just thrilling when you get these big days. It's actually thrilling just to see one or two as well. They're magnificent birds. They're amazing.
More information on the initiative and how to participate are on the foundation's website. Dave Gilson, CBC News, Kananaskis country.
Canada's main stock index rose Friday due to strength in the technology sector, while U.S. stock markets saw higher gains after an encouraging inflation report. Here's a look at some of the numbers as we head to break.
This weather update is brought to you in part by Atlantic Lottery's iGames. Play hundreds of games on the Atlantic Lottery app or at alc.ca.
All right, we're back to wrap things up, and the weekend is here.
The weekend, it's Friday.
Everybody loves the weekend.
I think so, and it's going to be a very mild weekend. Our temperatures are hanging out in the double digits for daytime highs, maybe a little bit cool in the morning, but that's to be expected for this time of year. We did see some scattered showers, though, develop, especially through the Annapolis Valley this afternoon, and we still have a few lingering showers on the radar, and more pockets of rain, say for the eastern mainland, through to Cape Breton are expected over the next 12 hours. So these showers will be intermittent. Not a lot will be falling. Now, there is an exception. Those living along the Atlantic coast, say for Guysborough County, Richmond, as well as Cape Breton County, we could pick up a little bit of moisture overnight tonight as the system is just brushing by the Nova Scotia coastline. But elsewhere, it looks like it's going to stay dry with some fog patches developing. Not the case for the entire weekend. There are spotty showers in the forecast Saturday afternoon, then again on Sunday afternoon, but a more significant system will start taking shape down to the south and west, and then by Monday we're going to be watching an area of low pressure visit us, and it's going to stick around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday, and it's going to give us measurable rain chances at least through those days. Now tonight, a few chances for showers again, especially the further east you are and along the Atlantic coast. Temperatures a little bit cool overnight, dropping down to around 4 to 6 degrees, maybe even a little bit cooler in those low-lying areas away from the coast, but keeping in a slight chance for showers Saturday and Sunday, maybe a couple of millimeters on Monday. The same is true for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And the temperatures do get cooler with a northerly wind. And right now, fingers crossed, it looks like it's going to be dry at least Friday night for the trick-or-treaters.
Good news.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the smallest celebration for the biggest team in Toronto is on display at Legoland Discovery Centre. Master model builder Noel Stratsma swept up in playoff fever, designed a Lego Blue Jay with hundreds of bricks. He also built a stadium scene packed with miniature figurine fans and for anyone missing out on the game day ticket. The whole display sits in Miniland, a miniature Toronto cityscape made from more than 500,000 Lego bricks.
It also includes miniature Rogers Centre ready for tonight's big game. Look at that.
All right, go
It's
Jays,
amazing.
go. That is it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.